can't believe that we could be going back to where we were 2 years ago, actually 3 years ago, where we had that year between the Glazers announcing it in the November and then the following year, December, Christmas Eve, it was Ineos who won. We had a whole year of this back and forth, and it feels like we could be heading back there, and I don't know whether I want to go there. And that's a really weird situation. I do not like the Glazers, and I do not like Sir Jim Radcliffe being in bed with the Glazers, but I also think that at some point we have to start being a football club, and if we're going to go through another year of negotiations again, what does that do to the football club in that year? Ultimately, we do want a full sale, but I don't want another investor. So I'm sort of like, what is this that's going on? What we've been told, what Ben Jacobs told me last night, what is now being established by people like Chris Wheeler as well, is that this is a consortium from the UAE who will want to buy Man United. I think we can take that step. They will want to buy Man United. I don't think they're going to want to invest. I don't think that really makes a lot of sense in relation to money that comes in from the Middle East anyway. I think they will want to buy it all. And the question will be coming down to whether they've got the 5 billion to do it. And hopefully somebody has, because if you're going to buy Man United, you shouldn't be buying it at a business concern anyway. You should be buying it for the status and the opportunity to take it back to the very, very top. Now, we know that the Glazers will always lock in future value into Manchester United. They'll say things like, well, it's cheap at 5 billion because in 5 years' time, when they're in the Champions League all the time and they've got a new stadium and Man United are back on top of football, will be worth 15 billion. And that's true. I think Man United could be worth 10, 15 billion pounds in the next decade. But you've got to act like a football club to get there. You can't do it on projections of what's going to happen over the next 3 years. It's too slow, as we were saying the other night. So if I was looking to buy Man United, I'd probably pay the 5 or 6 billion because I'd be doing it because I want Manchester United and I want to take them back to the top. And I'd also know that with the money I'm going to invest, I probably will make it back in 10 years, but that's not really why I'm doing it anyway. So I hope that somebody does step forward and stop negotiating the price down around a business deal and actually just pay it to get the club. Because that's what needs to happen. We need somebody that wants Manchester United because it's Manchester United. We need somebody that wants Manchester United enough to, free us from this Glazer prison and buy us and make us what we can be. So hopefully somebody somewhere is going to do it. Hopefully there are other people as well. Hopefully there are other people with the money going, ooh, look at what they're doing. Let's have a look at doing it. I mean, I just want somebody to take over this football club and run it properly. I just want somebody to run this football club like a football club. So that's more of a projection of what I want. Going back to specifics, do I think this United Arab Emirates consortium is going to get hold of Manchester United? I think there's definitely a desire to get hold of institutions like Manchester United from the Middle East. I think there is definitely that. Obviously, the Saudi league is trying to build a league, whereas the UAE has got a league, but it's not ever going to compete with Saudi. So their best investment is into, abroad, foreign sporting organisations. They'll certainly have the money to do it. That's not the problem. The questions I have too are they going to follow through on this seriously? And are the Glazers open to doing it? All the stuff about the ex-players is irrelevant. I mean, to me, there is no ex-player that has the money to, get involved in this. And ambassadorial roles we already have anyway. Brian Robson, Peter Schmeichel, Louis Zaha, Dennis Irwin. These people are already ambassadors for Manchester United under the current regime. So if a new owner comes in and says it's David Beckham and Rio Ferdinand or whatever, who gives a shit? As long as they're not director of football or CEO, I don't really care. It's who's got the money. The people who are most at jeopardy here, if you want to follow this route, is Sir Jim Radcliffe. Because now that the drag-along rights ended in August, the Glazers are free to negotiate a sale of this football club, and Sir Jim can't do anything about it. And realistically, what have we learned in the last 18 months? That we're in a worse position, but there is stadium plans there. They're ready to go. So in some ways, you could look at it and go, the Glazers have got Sir Jim Radcliffe to do a lot of groundwork for a potential sale. Maybe the intention was never to build the stadium at all. Maybe it was to prepare it for that. Sacking all these people halves your wages in a certain area and makes you more attractive for a sale. So I think that the interesting point here is what's the relationship between the Glazers and Sir Jim? Is it as solid as oak? And if it isn't, this could be brilliant news for Manchester United fans. I mean, this was one of the reasons I said he shouldn't be getting into bed with the Glazers anyway. You know, they're enemies of the football club and you're getting into bed with the enemy. Now, most people would interpret that as Sir Jim Radcliffe was seen as a saviour of the club when he was being linked to buying it all. I remember that. And then he got into bed with the Glazers and called them good people. Now, we warned Sir Jim about that, saying if you get into bed with the Glazers, you become an enemy of the club, to some of us. The flip side of that coin is, should he have got into bed with them anyway, can he trust them? So, as much as I don't like what he did, it might not benefit him anyway, because they might stab him in the back. And it could work out in another way as well. Look, if the Glazers say, we've had enough, we've actually had enough, we want to sell now, he can buy it all as well. So I'd take a full Sir Jim Radcliffe ownership of Man United over the one that we have at the moment. And I would take a full ownership from somebody else over what we've got at the moment. And if this leads to that, then that to me is a huge positive.